a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Coruscant, the bustling capital of the galaxy, was a planet that never slept. Towering skyscrapers reached for the stars, while deep below, in the underworld of Coruscant, a different world thrived. Here, in the shadows of the city, secrets were kept, and mysteries awaited those brave enough to uncover them. One evening, Anakin Skywalker, still a young and adventurous Jedi Knight, received a covert message from an old friend, Dex, who owned a diner in the lower levels. Dex needed Anakin's help with a problem that only a Jedi could solve. Chapter 1: The Hidden Message. In the dimly lit Jedi Temple, Anakin sat in his quarters, examining the holographic message from Dex. The small device projected a shimmering image of Dex, his expression unusually serious. "Anakin, I need your help. There's something big happening in the underworld, something dangerous. Meet me at the diner after midnight. Come alone." Anakin's curiosity was immediately piqued. Dex was a trusted friend, a reliable informant, and a wise old soul with connections deep within Coruscant's underbelly. For him to send such an urgent message meant that the situation was dire. Anakin knew he couldn't ignore it. He quickly donned a dark cloak, choosing one that would help him blend into the shadows of the lower levels. He left his lightsaber hidden beneath his robe, ready to be drawn at a moment's notice. As he made his way through the bustling halls of the Jedi Temple, he kept his presence concealed through the Force, not wanting to draw any unnecessary attention. The speeder ride down to the lower levels was a stark contrast to the pristine and orderly life above. The lights grew dimmer, the air thicker, and the structures more chaotic. The underworld of Coruscant was a place where law and order were mere suggestions, and danger lurked around every corner. Arriving at Dex's diner, Anakin slipped inside, greeted by the familiar hum of conversation and the clatter of dishes. Dex, a large basilisk with 4 arms and a warm smile, was wiping down the counter. His smile faded slightly as he saw Anakin approach, replaced by a look of concern. "Anakin, it's good to see you," Dex said, his voice low and serious. "We've got a serious problem. There's a new gang causing trouble, and they've gotten their hands on some advanced tech, something not from this world." "What kind of tech?" Anakin asked, leaning in, intrigued and concerned. "Energy weapons and droids we've never seen before. I think they're planning something big. We need to find out who's behind this and stop them before it's too late." Anakin nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. The underworld was a breeding ground for trouble, and advanced technology in the wrong hands could spell disaster. He knew he had to act quickly and decisively. "Lead the way, Dex," Anakin said, his determination evident. "We'll get to the bottom of this." With that, the two friends left the diner and ventured deeper into the heart of Coruscant's underworld, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Chapter 2: Into the Underworld. Anakin and Dex moved swiftly through the darkened streets of the underworld. The air was thick with smoke and the scent of exotic spices, mingling with the distant hum of machinery and the occasional sound of blaster fire. The lower levels of Coruscant were a stark contrast to the gleaming towers above, a chaotic, vibrant world filled with smugglers, traders, and shadowy figures. Dex led Anakin through a series of narrow alleyways, their path lit by flickering neon signs and the occasional street lamp. The deeper they went, the more apparent it became that they were entering a realm where few ventured willingly. Dex's contacts were scattered throughout the underworld, each providing snippets of information that painted a troubling picture. At a small, run-down cantina, they met with a Rhodian named Grippo, who had a reputation for knowing the latest gossip. Grippo's large, bug-like eyes flicked nervously as he spoke. "I've heard whispers of a gang stockpiling weapons, strange ones, with power unlike anything we've seen. They're meeting tonight at an old warehouse in Sector 7. "Thank you, Grippo," Anakin said, passing the Rhodian a few credits. "Stay safe." Their next stop was a mechanic's shop run by a grizzled old Wookiee named Chewbacca. He growled softly as Dex translated. Chewie says he's seen shipments of unfamiliar droid parts coming through the area. They're not standard models, highly modified, possibly experimental. Anakin felt a growing sense of urgency. Advanced droids and weapons in the hands of a criminal gang could wreak havoc not just in the underworld, but throughout Coruscant. They had to move quickly. Finally, they arrived at the abandoned warehouse mentioned by Grippo. The building loomed ominously in the dim light, its windows shattered and walls covered in graffiti. Anakin could sense a strong presence of the Force, a sign that something significant was hidden within. Using the Force to enhance his senses, Anakin scanned the area for any signs of danger. He detected several life forms inside, their movements methodical and purposeful. He nodded to Dex, signaling that it was time to proceed. With Dex providing cover, Anakin used his lightsaber to carefully cut a hole in the side of the warehouse, creating a silent entrance. They slipped inside, moving stealthily through the shadows. The interior was a labyrinth of crates and machinery, creating a perfect setting for an ambush. As they navigated the maze of equipment, Anakin spotted a group of mercenaries huddled around a central figure, cloaked and commanding. The mercenaries were armed with the advanced weapons Dex had described, their energy blades glowing menacingly in the dim light. Anakin signaled for Dex to stay back and drew his lightsaber, its blue blade casting a soft glow. He stepped forward, ready to confront the threat and uncover the truth behind the mysterious technology. Chapter 3: The Encounter. Anakin stepped into the dimly lit center of the warehouse, his lightsaber casting a blue glow that illuminated the shadows. The mercenaries turned to face him, their expressions a mix of surprise and aggression. The cloaked figure at their center, however, remained calm and composed. "Skywalker," the figure sneered, pulling back the hood to reveal a familiar face. It was Dr. Varko, a rogue scientist from the Techno-Union, thought to have vanished after the Clone Wars. "I've been expecting you." Anakin's grip on his lightsaber tightened. "Varko, what are you doing here? What's your plan?" Varko smirked, stepping closer. "Isn't it obvious? The war may be over, but the galaxy is still ripe for the taking. With this technology, I can create an army that will bow to no one." Before Anakin could respond, the mercenaries attacked. Their energy blades clashed with his lightsaber in a dazzling display of light and sound. Despite being outnumbered, Anakin moved with the precision and speed of a Jedi Knight, his training and the Force guiding his every move. Dex provided cover fire from the shadows, using his blasters to pick off the mercenaries one by one. The battle was fierce, but Anakin's skills and the Force gave him the upper hand. He deflected blaster bolts with ease, disarming the mercenaries and forcing them into retreat. In the midst of the chaos, Varko tried to escape. Anakin saw him slip through a side door and gave chase, determined not to let him get away. He followed the scientist through a series of narrow corridors, the sounds of battle fading behind him. Finally, they emerged onto a rooftop overlooking the city. The night air was cool, and the lights of Coruscant stretched out in every direction. Varko turned to face Anakin, a look of desperation in his eyes. "Give up, Varko," Anakin said, his lightsaber still ignited. "You can't win." Varko laughed, a harsh and bitter sound. "You think you've won, Skywalker? This is only the beginning." With a sudden movement, Varko activated a hidden device. A blinding flash of light erupted from his hand, momentarily stunning Anakin. When his vision cleared, Varko was gone, vanished into the night. Anakin deactivated his lightsaber and took a deep breath, calming himself with the Force. He had stopped the immediate threat, but Varko's escape meant that the danger was far from over. He needed to return to the warehouse and secure the remaining technology. Back inside, he found Dex overseeing the captured mercenaries. The rogue scientist's absence was a disappointment, but they had managed to prevent the weapons from falling into the wrong hands. "We did it, Dex," Anakin said, a hint of a smile on his face. "But this isn't over," Dex nodded. "We'll find Varko, and when we do, we'll make sure he can't threaten the galaxy again." With the situation under control, Anakin contacted the Jedi Council, informing them of the events. They would send a team to secure the area and investigate further. For now, his mission was complete. Chapter 4: The Revelation. Anakin and Dex returned to the warehouse, the adrenaline of battle still coursing through their veins. The captured mercenaries were being restrained, their weapons and equipment gathered in a corner under Dex's watchful eye. Anakin began to examine the advanced technology, his mind racing with possibilities. The weapons were unlike anything he had seen before, a hybrid of Clone Wars-era tech and something more sinister. The energy blades were compact and powerful, capable of cutting through even the strongest armor. The droids were similarly advanced, with enhanced AI and combat capabilities far beyond standard models. As Anakin studied the devices, he felt a growing unease. These weren't just rogue creations. They were the result of deliberate and sophisticated engineering. Varko's involvement hinted at a larger conspiracy, one that could have far-reaching consequences for the galaxy. Anakin turned to Dex, his expression serious. "We need to interrogate the mercenaries. They might know more about Varko's plans and who else is involved." Dex nodded and approached the nearest mercenary, a grizzled human with a defiant look in his eyes. "Start talking," Dex growled. "Who are you working for? What are Varko's plans?" The mercenary sneered, but hesitated when he saw Anakin's intense gaze. "We were hired to protect the shipments and ensure they reached their destination. Varko never told us much, just that the weapons were going to a new buyer, someone powerful." Anakin's eyes narrowed. "Who is this buyer? Where can we find them?" "I don't know," the mercenary replied, his voice trembling slightly. "All I know is that Varko mentioned something about meeting his contact in the core worlds. Said it was too important to trust anyone else." Anakin processed this information, understanding the implications. If Varko was dealing with a powerful figure in the core worlds, the threat could be even greater than they anticipated. The Jedi Council needed to be informed immediately. With the mercenaries secured, Anakin used his communicator to contact Master Yoda. The small, green hologram appeared, Yoda's wise eyes narrowing as he listened to Anakin's report. "Grave news this is," Yoda said, his voice heavy with concern. "Investigate further, we must. Dangerous, Varko's plans are." Anakin nodded. "I'll follow up on the lead and see if I can track down Varko. We can't let him succeed. Careful, you must be," Yoda warned. "Strong in the Force? Varko may not be, but dangerous, his knowledge is." The communication ended, and Anakin turned to Dex. "I need to find Varko before he can deliver these weapons. Can you handle things here?" Dex grinned. "I've got this. Go get that slimy scientist." Anakin departed the warehouse, his mind focused on the task ahead. He had to uncover Varko's trail and prevent the advanced technology from falling into the wrong hands. The fate of the galaxy could depend on it. Chapter 5: The Pursuit. Anakin's search for Varko led him through the labyrinthine depths of Coruscant's underworld and into the bustling mid-levels of the city. Using his contacts and the Force to guide him, he followed a series of clues that painted a clearer picture of Varko's movements. First, he visited a black market dealer named Raylan, who confirmed that Varko had recently purchased a starship under a false identity. The ship's destination was listed as one of the core worlds, but Raylan couldn't provide more specifics. Next, Anakin sought out an information broker known as the Spider, a reclusive Bothan with a network of spies and informants. The Spider's lair was hidden in the depths of an old industrial sector, a web of wires and screens providing constant streams of data. "You seek Varko," the Spider said, his eyes glinting with curiosity. "He's a slippery one, but not impossible to find. He recently contacted someone in the core worlds, an old ally from the Techno Union." Anakin leaned forward. "Do you have a name?" The Spider nodded slowly. "Varko's ally is a man named Lord Kael. He's been moving in the shadows, gathering power and resources. If Varko is meeting anyone, it's likely him." Armed with this new information, Anakin made his way to the nearest starport and secured a ship. He input the coordinates for the core worlds, specifically targeting a planet known for its clandestine dealings and hidden alliances. As he piloted the ship through hyperspace, Anakin's thoughts were a whirlwind of concern and determination. Lord Kael was a name he had encountered in old records, an influential figure within the Techno Union who had disappeared after the Clone Wars. If Kael was involved, the stakes were higher than ever. Upon arriving at the planet, Anakin concealed his ship in a remote docking bay and began his investigation. The city was a blend of opulence and secrecy, with towering spires and hidden alleys. Anakin kept his hood up and his senses alert, using the Force to guide him towards Varko's location. After hours of searching, he finally found himself in a grandiose estate on the outskirts of the city. The building was heavily guarded, with advanced security measures in place. Anakin knew he had to be careful. A direct assault would be risky. Using the Force to cloak his presence, he slipped past the guards and infiltrated the estate. Inside, he navigated through luxurious hallways, eventually reaching a large meeting room. Through a crack in the door, he saw Varko and Lord Kael deep in conversation. "It's almost ready," Varko was saying. "With this technology, we can reshape the galaxy. No one will be able to stand against us." Lord Kael nodded, his expression cold and calculating. "Ensure that the delivery goes smoothly. Any interference must be dealt with swiftly." Anakin knew he couldn't wait any longer. He burst into the room, his lightsaber ignited. "This ends now, Varko." The scientist's eyes widened in shock, but Kael remained composed. "Skywalker," he said calmly. "I was wondering when you'd show up." A fierce battle ensued, with Anakin taking on both Varko's droids and Kael's guards. The clash of lightsaber against metal echoed through the estate, a testament to Anakin's skill and determination. Finally, with a decisive strike, he disarmed Varko and incapacitated Kael. The threat was neutralized, but Anakin knew this was just one battle in a much larger war. He contacted the Jedi Council, informing them of his success and the need for continued vigilance. Back on Coruscant, Anakin and Dex reunited at the diner, the adrenaline of their recent adventure giving way to a sense of accomplishment. They shared a quiet moment, reflecting on the events that had unfolded and the dangers they had faced. "You did good, kid," Dex said, patting Anakin on the back. "Thanks for saving my hide and keeping this place safe." Anakin smiled, his eyes thoughtful. "We couldn't let Varko's plans come to fruition. The galaxy is safer because of what we did." Dex nodded, his expression serious. "But we can't rest easy. There's always going to be another threat, another challenge. We've got to stay vigilant." Anakin agreed. The galaxy was vast and filled with dangers, but as long as there were people like Dex and the Jedi, there was hope. He felt a renewed sense of purpose, a reminder of why he had become a Jedi in the first place. As they sat in the diner, watching the endless flow of patrons and the hustle and bustle of the underworld, Anakin couldn't help but feel a sense of peace. The city might be chaotic, but it was also full of life and resilience. After a while, Anakin stood up, ready to return to the Jedi Temple. "Take care, Dex, and if you ever need help again, you know where to find me." Dex grinned. "You bet, Anakin. May the Force be with you." As Anakin made his way back to the surface, he felt a sense of fulfillment. He had uncovered a dangerous plot and brought peace to the underworld of Coruscant. The night's adventure was a reminder that even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, the light of the Jedi could shine bright. Under the watchful gaze of the stars, Anakin Skywalker closed his eyes, ready to drift into a peaceful sleep, knowing that he had made a difference once again. Thank you for joining me on this untold adventure of Anakin Skywalker in the underworld of Coruscant. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with more tales from the Force Archives. May the Force be with you always. Good night, and see you in the next adventure.